What's going on, a.o.e gamers? Today we're back with some more Gotham Knights. I'm going to be jumping into a Nightwing build that I think is probably one of the most fun and one of the best ones currently in the game. So if that interests you, then stay tuned. That's coming up next. Welcome back everybody. Today we're going to be looking at Nightwing. We're going to be going over a build that I think is absolutely amazing. I've been doing various builds for this character and a few of the others, but this one kind of stands out to me because I think it's one of the best for single player, but also will be completely devastating in co-op, or if you can bring it over to the team build when the heroic assault comes out, this one will be second to none. Literally, after putting this on, I was so popular in Gotham that I couldn't walk down the street without being recognised, as you can see here.
You're just the hero we needed, Nightwing. Thank God you are here to protect us, Nightwing.
Hi.
All jokes aside though, I feel this is one of the best builds you can make, just for everything it brings to the actual fight. Now, as you can see in the background here, I made a crit build. I didn't think it was too bad, the damage numbers were pretty nice, I could get some really good single target as well as AoE, but to me it was just missing something. The damage seemed fine, but the gameplay lacked something because it made Nightwing a little bit bland. He has crazy moves like this with the batons, but all in all, there wasn't enough going on the screen for me. So I had a little rejig, went out on the hunt for some gear, and now I've come up with something that can not only get your skills back ridiculously fast, but also has a lot of AoE going on, has quite high damage, and is a lot of fun to play. And it kind of counteracts those really annoying gunner types in the game that can shoot you in the back over and over. I'm going to show you a clip of that footage now, and you can decide if this is the build for you. If it is, I'll chuck on the full build guide after. Right, so hopefully from that you can see that this build is just ridiculous. There are so many effects going off, there's so much AoE, there is a lot of stun going on, but ultimately you've also got quite a bit of damage and you've got some great single target with it. We've also got two elements going on, meaning that we can adapt to situations. This build works amazing solo, but I think in a team it will be probably one of the best you could get. For the suit, as you can see here, we're going with the Momentum ability suit. This, I would say, on the hardest content, especially if they bring out some tougher stuff, will be undoubtedly the best suit in the game. For pretty much anyone, I would say, most times, if we go into it. As you can see here, this one's a grade 2 of 2. If you can get a grade 2, it's always going to work out the best currently, as the stats on that will be slightly higher. The defense and health is not bad, it's not the best by any means, and the mods that I've chucked into it are going to be the armor enforcer and to increase health. Honestly, in whatever you want to put in this, it's not going to make the most difference, just chuck in a little bit of health if you can, as the suit itself probably doesn't have the most when compared to some of the others. But the gear properties is where this one absolutely shines. You don't have to worry about the hardest content, because this suit makes you nigh unkillable, give or take. Critical countermeasures instantly grants maximum momentum when your health is low. Now that says health is low, but it kicks in it classes health as low in this game rather than in some like 20%, 25%. In this game it's 50%. That to me is kind of massive. It's a ridiculous buff, and as far as I'm aware you can't get this any other way. You can go from 0 to 5 bars with Nightwing in an instant. You've just got to let your health go under that 50% marker. so you can just get hit a few times or just play probably not as carefully as you should do in order to get maximum momentum and spam those abilities. TKO momentum, knocking out an enemy, increases momentum build up for a short duration. You will be knocking out foes left, right and centre with this build because of how many abilities you can use and because of what we've got going on in it. And lastly, knockout shell. Using an ability increases armour for a short duration. So with that, we've almost constantly got extra armour, meaning we're very survivable, even though we do have to try and make it so that we get knocked down to that half health every once in a while. Jumping over to the melee, and we've got the bioelectric Eskrima sticks. These are just a lot better than I gave them credit for. I kind of struck off electricity in this. I didn't think it was the best when I first started using it, but now I'm starting to see it's really got its place, and holds down whole groups of enemies with certain builds. Nightwing is probably one of the best to pull that off because of, as you saw, his move where he throws the batons around just hits so many enemies that there's so much stun going on, it's unbelievable, and where it gives a little area effect to it, it affects even more than one target. With this, as you can see, I've got triple build up effect of that elemental in order to get the most out of it. We're not doing quite as much damage with these sticks as you normally would in a crit build, but you've got so much CC going on that this guy is pretty much the ultimate crowd control. These sticks come with a triple elemental effect build up. If you wanted to take one off, put a bit more damage on, you could with that crit damage, but these ones don't actually come with any crit chance, so I would probably say the build up works best. Plus we're going for that a.o.e, we're going for that everything being locked down and just having a lot of fun, completely making sure that shock effect's going on. The gear properties: Counter Strike Momentum, instantly grants momentum after knocking out an enemy with a perfect attack. This will be for your single targets. Honestly, it doesn't come into play as much as I'd hope, but it is there just in case you need it. Knockout Momentum, knocking out an enemy with a momentum ability, increases momentum build up for a short duration. Very similar in style to the one we had before, so obviously this one does come into play, but the main one is going to be the last, which is Effect Offense. Knocking out an enemy increases elemental effect and elemental effect resistance for a short duration. This gives you a nice little chunk of survivability if you need it, meaning that when you're at that half health you're not quite as struggly, you're not going to get absolutely wiped out if there's an elemental effect that goes on, and we're going to get more elemental effect in our build, allowing us to generate a bit faster, and as you saw, those shocks are going everywhere. Lastly, over to the ranged, and these I would say are some of the best things in the game. Ice Element is undoubtedly in my mind probably the strongest currently. For myself, I've put on crit damage because I found it did actually help, but this is down to your own preference. If you want to build up that ice effect a little bit more, probably chuck on a little bit of that elemental. I found that elemental worked really well with this, how high it was, so I put the crit damage on, even though again this hasn't got much crit chance about it. Because we're hitting 3 times every single time we're pressing that long range button, it means that you're bound to get crits anyway, and that the build up is considerable even though we haven't been speccing into it much. Down from here, we've got Counter Strike Momentum, instantly grants momentum after knocking out an enemy with a perfect attack. Knockout Momentum, knocking out an enemy with a momentum ability, increases momentum build up for a short duration. And Effect Offense, knocking out an enemy increases elemental effect and elemental effect resistance for a short duration. Now, as you can see, a few of these have been doubled up, so at first sight you probably wouldn't chuck this build together, but you have enough going on that it just doesn't matter. If you need to lock down a single target, you go straight over to your ranged. You're going to hit them, it's going to apply a debuff to them because of what Nightwing's got going on in his kit. Usually by tapping it 2 or 3 times they're completely frozen, so you could absolutely massacre them. And if you want that group damage, you're just going to go for that a.o.e as we saw. Also with freeze, which it doesn't tell you, every time you break them out of that frozen effect you get a big old chunky number, usually between 10 to 14k give or take. So this will knock out almost any of the normal adds, and it will take a big chunk off of the hard adds as well. Now for the abilities, I'm not going to be going on about this for too long, because ultimately, as we've seen, you can get your hands on all of these. If you're not sure how to pick up all the AP and you want to know how, I'll chuck a link up top right now. But the main ones that's going to be involved with this build will be just down here. You get extra crit chance, extra crit damage, And just down the bottom, hitting an enemy with a melee attack from a large distance increases the critical chance and critical damage by 15%. So rather than trying to combo everything up, you're going to be holding down your melee button, doing those long jumps and getting a lot of damage that way. Most times that bioelectric effect is also going to proc, give them a little stun and probably stun the people next to them, allowing you to get on and do what you need to do. Obviously you've got the momentum bar extra, you've got 15% momentum gain, and just down the bottom, one of the best things for Nightwing is using momentum abilities restore a portion of Nightwing's health. Over to his pack leader tree, and you're going to increase Nightwing's defense and resistances by 10%, and he's going to be buffed by whoever he's working with. 15% melee damage per Batgirl, 15% range for a Red Hood, and 15% stealth per Robin. Like I said, Nightwing is the best co-op player. He's going to help everyone around him, and he's also going to be helped by everyone around him, so well worth having in any team or co-op play. Remember, your passive skills increase damage, crit chance, defense, momentum regeneration, and ultimate cooldown are shared with allies at 50% of their value. With this build how we've got it currently, you are able to get your kind of momentum back whenever you want, depending on if you want to get hit. And with some skills going on in his tree, that means you can generate more momentum for your team than any other way. Remember, your darts inflict elemental build up, so it makes things even easier. And Nightwing's darts also reduce enemies' defences by 10%. If you pick up this skill in his knighthood, Nightwing now shoots 3 darts at once instead of 1. This makes the elemental build up just ridiculously easy to do, as long as you're playing correctly and taking a few shots at the same target. Now for his abilities, the ones to focus on, Nest will obviously make you and your team pretty much nigh unkillable, well worth having. You're going to have it back constantly in this build, so if you're in trouble, you do need any health, or you need to make your team, or you need to make your co-op play survivable, this is going to be the one you'll pop. Shotgun darts is great for that single target. I tend to use this quite often after I froze the enemies, especially the big targets. When it comes off with a crit, this will absolutely annihilate your foes, and if you've built up quite a few of these, so say you've got 4 or 5 momentum, you can use these continuously. First one will break the guard of a large enemy, after that you're going to spam it and completely annihilate whatever's in front of you. If there's a few ads you want to take out in a line, then Elemental Shockwave is one of the best to use. As you can see in the video here, it does a lot of damage, it looks crazy, and it kind of goes really well with what we've got going on in our kit. AoE, definitely 100%, you're going to be spinning to win with your whirlwind attack. That's going to give off that little stun, it's going to do the bioelectric, and it's just going to be a lot of fun to watch as you play. Also on normal mode, nothing stands a chance. Hard is what I play on obviously, and even with that, it's not going to be the highest damage, but it is going to be amazing for just knocking things down and then being able to take them out whenever you want. Last but definitely not least, like I said, especially in co-op, now that you're able to generate momentum whenever you want by getting punched under 50%, Nightwing symbol glows, stunning nearby enemies and granting allies 1 momentum segment. This could be really helpful, especially in that heroic assault mode that's coming up. Keep this one in mind, as you can help your team out massively, and he's going to be the best buffer in the game by an absolute mile. Now last but definitely not least, if you were struggling in any way, say they make another difficulty, or it just is very difficult in whatever you're playing, for example that heroic assault, then rather than having the cryogenic darts, have anything on it, maybe the regenerator darts right here. All you're going to need is something with this perk on it right there. Technical Fighter. Heals the wearer and increases base damage after using an ability. This will make you invincible. No matter what, you are unbeatable with this on, with this suit. Because every time you've got those abilities, you're just going to pop them, you're going to get your health, and you're going to get your health regen. You will not be able to get beaten. The only way I could ever see you dying is if you were not paying attention whatsoever. But I've never had it yet, and I've been playing on hard for about the last 5-6 days. So I think this will probably be a little bit of overkill if anything. But yeah, let me know in the comments what you think. I'm really having a blast with this. There's going to be one more build that I try that's going to be pure ice, but I still haven't managed to pick it up with this character yet. It seems to be eluding me. But as always, for all things gaming, for all things Xbox, take care. I'll see you on the next day.